Live, welcome to Shifty Perspective. In this episode, we have 4 times Bulgarian wrestling national champion, a very, very talented and scary man to have you in his grasps. We have with us today the very talented Lyubo Kumbarov. Hey, Lyubo, how are you doing?
Hello, guys. Very well. Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be on your podcast. Really appreciate uh, your invitation. I look forward to
Cool.
engage with your listeners. All the people who are involved in it.
Well, we have a lot of people who maybe aren't maybe into or aware of wrestling or martial arts. So it's always interesting to get different guests on that come from all different ranges of skills. So I think it's important. Just maybe we can start off by you can introduce yourself a bit. Uh, tell us where you came from and how you got into wrestling and yeah, a bit about yourself.
I'm originally Bulgarian native. I come from a small village from uh, southwest of Bulgaria. It's one of the mountains, Rhodope Mountains. It's a very beautiful place I come from,
Okay.
and a rough place in a way as well. The way we were brought up, it was quite tough. A lot of farming work,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of fights during that time as well. We were around. We had tough times compared to nowadays. Tough times to actually.
Would
Uh, you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. It's a
Yeah.
little bit quiet, but it's okay. I can hear you. I
Uh,
can hear you clearly.
I'll come a bit closer to maybe
Cool.
towards the microphone.
Oh,
Uh,
that's better.
in
Great.
our region, in Bulgaria, there is also other part of the world. They do this outdoor wrestling. I don't know if you've seen it before or not, but
No.
during the summer, there is events like fun days. People gather together. They go. They make a barbecue. There is some people come sell stuff. Uh, they organize big wrestling event. And people from kids, young age to adults can sign up to it,
Cool.
and it's very entertaining. So I was fifth grade. That's maybe I was 9 or 10 years old
Mm-hmm.
when I was doing that event, and they announced on a microphone. Announcer, he says, "Whoever has desire to come sign up for the wrestling, please, you have hour and a half to sign up." And when I heard, I escaped from my parents and I went to sign in for the event. But
And you'd never wrestled
man,
before?
it's a lot of no. Actually, we wrestle. We wrestle before with the people, but like on the fields,
Mm-hmm.
on the grass, like
Just
just for
playing.
fun. But I had passion to go and try myself, against some other other kids. But yeah, I haven't wrestled in such an event before. But man, in that event, it's thousands of people there. All the surrounding
Wow.
villages. If you get away from your parents, it's hard to find you. So a lot of times kids get lost, and when somebody lose their children, they go to the guy with the microphone to say, "Oh, a child is lost.
Yeah.
Please look for him. Bring him to the announcer." And man, I went sign up, and I'm waiting to wrestle. And my parents, they look for me during that time. They were scared. Maybe I got lost. Something happened. And my dad started going towards the announcer to say that I'm lost. And as he going towards the guy, he hears my name. Okay, next bout to come so and so on the on the grass. So that was my first event and my first entertainment to grappling, to wrestling.
How did
So it
that
was
go?
quite fun. And if you win, I got the first place. I had 3 opponents. I win all of them.
What?
And the funny thing about this, the rules, there is no time. Like it's not like 6 minutes matches or 10 minutes matches. There is the only rule is pin, or in a grappling or boxing knockout or submission. Then the match is
Wow.
over. So the match can last maybe whenever you pin the guy. Maybe I had matches in like in Greece or in Bulgaria when I was older, maybe lasting hour and a half.
No,
You know,
what? Seriously?
in the sun. You know. Yeah, but man, look, once you go through those things, you wrestle in the mud or you wrestle in the grass. Once they put you on the mat, like you go from hell to paradise, you know. So, but yeah, that was my first introduction to the grappling field. And then after that, my dad sat me down and he said, "Look, man, do you want to really go ahead and wrestle? Do you enjoy it? If so, we can go and have an exam in one of the best sports school in Bulgaria, which is called CSK, Central Sports Club in the Army." And we went a year or two later, and I got accepted in the sports school, and that's how my wrestling career started. You know.
Amazing. Well, that's really cool. Your parents were supportive of it. Were they angry at first when you?
No, they just tried to get rid of me. You know.
Wow.
They put me in a boarding school because as a child, probably everybody as a child is quite wild. But what I find here in West, you don't get too much in fight, you know, in argument because you get in big trouble. But back home, man, I was very naughty child. You know,
Okay.
when you go to school, I used to fight with all my classmates. I used to beat them up, and when I come back home, there was a big queue for my house. I couldn't get through the people because they were lining up to complain to my dad. And once I reached to the door, I faced my dad. He get me, he slammed me, beat me sometimes. But that's how we get tough, you know.
It's true. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So they tried to get rid of me, but I'm grateful to them because I became a person, you know. Otherwise, if I stay in the village, I could become maybe a different thing.
Yeah, like
So,
the village where you're
thanks
from,
to them.
is it really rural and like like you know your family are they like farmers or would you have had opportunities if you would have got into wrestling? What's the kind of path you might have taken, do you think?
Look, back in that region, especially during the time which I'm describing now, we only used to plant tobacco. You know, tobacco, you grow it and you pick it and then you dry it for people for the cigarettes. You know, that's
Yeah.
how that was our, I don't know, way of life.
Yeah,
But
livelihood.
now it's a little bit better because we entered the European Union and people now more move around, find job different places. But during that time, we were mainly farming, you know, like potatoes, beans. It was a close circle, you know. You look after your vegetables, you look after your animals, and that's how you support yourself.
Cool. So do you visit? Do you go back often now to Bulgaria? Do you see your family there? Are you still do you still
Yeah,
have
and
close
that's where I
ties?
recharge my batteries. You know, you have to find a place to recharge. You know, to go back and
Yeah,
relax
man.
and and remember where you come from. You know, give back also to the younger generation a little bit, inspire them a little bit.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah, it
for me,
must
it's
be crazy.
important, you know, to go back of energy in a way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, sometimes nowadays the world it's kind of how to say dries you out, you know, sucks your energy out. So you need to have that place where you go and chill, you know, find friends, family. So it's
Yeah,
quite
man.
important, you know.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, life is very fast paced, especially I mean you're in the UK and like I'm in Amsterdam and like you know Western Europe it seems is very very high paced and you know years go by, next thing you know months, weeks, years fly past, so it is important I think to recharge and to take that time out. So and I bet you as well it's probably pretty cool when you go back. I imagine you must be quite inspirational to people in the area.
Look, I don't know what to say. People appreciate, you know, because when you go from a certain place, you know, let's say you're from some town or some, people are quite grateful for you because you kind of rising the flag of the village, you know, in a way, or
Yeah,
you
yeah.
kind of promote them like you're. I mean, I don't want to say for myself I'm like a star to this place or nothing. It's a lot of other people who are much better than me, but I'm happy to represent that region. You know, it's honor for
Cool.
me. But what I find quite interesting because after this experience, you know, in the village, I went on to sports school, then I went to the university, sports university, and through the years you go into vigorous training, like you
Hmm.
train twice per day. Sometimes when you go to the national team, you train 3 to 4 times per day, so you take it quite serious. But along the way, so you conquer 4 titles in the Bulgarian national championship, which is not easy. I went to the States after. Uh, there, I've got some achievements. I was named outstanding wrestlers in Iowa Central of the in the nationals. But man, what I find funny when I go to the village and compete in those events, which the level is not crazy, but you become champion, people appreciate you much more. They don't care if you became champion of the states or of Bulgaria, but they for them it's important you're champion of the region there
Oh,
of the outdoor
nice.
wrestling. So,
So,
but
do you ever wrestle
it's nice.
back there?
I'm very grateful, to excuse me.
Oh, sorry. No, go. You carry on. Sorry, there's a delay, so you carry on.
Yeah, I said I'm very grateful, to those people there because they have inspired me to train harder, to do more. You have to have that inspiration in whatever you do, not only in sport, but in any field. I think you need to
Hmm.
find inspiration in either through people or through fate or something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, when you go back, do you still do the village wrestling?
Not as much as before. Now I think now the people are gone, and not many people get into the. I think that tradition it's it's fading away. And it's
Oh
not the
no.
same as before. Not if I send you some of the battles we had before, man, there is a huge crowd, like thousands and thousands of people sitting over each other. They're screaming, they're shouting. Now
Wow.
it's not the same. People are mainly people go abroad. They I don't know how not as many parents are sent back there to. If you have a small child, you send it back there for your
Hmm.
parents or grandparents to look after, and old people,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
people who are capable of work, most of them are abroad, somewhere in Europe or in the States, which is sad in a way to see. It's but what can you do, man? When there's not much work, you have to find a way to survive.
Yeah, I've got a few friends. Actually, one of my friends I train with is from Bulgaria, and like I've seen that there's quite a lot of yeah, migrant population. It seems lots of people um end up leaving to work elsewhere in Europe, which I guess must be pretty difficult on the country itself.
Yeah, look, man, once you've been through the farming work, look, the people escape from the tobacco. The tobacco fields, man, they're the biggest, how to say, character maker. If you have gone through the
Yeah.
tobacco fields, you can survive any job in the world. So once you go to the States, man, you work 2 3 jobs. I have like my uncle, my friends, they're in the States, man, and they say, man, once you've gone to the tobacco fields, you can do anything in
Wow.
in anywhere. So I think mainly people escape from the crazy hard work because
Hmm.
this is all year round. It's not only few months you do the work, but you all the time. If you have maybe 2 weeks off during the year, you're lucky.
Wow. Hard life. Shit.
If it's snowing or something, maybe.
So when did you first win your
But
you
nowadays the
Oh, sorry, go on. Sorry, carry on.
yeah, you mentioned about this. How often if you wrestle back to the fields again, or nowadays I think people are uh, not choosing grappling or wrestling as a uh, it's more as a hobby, not as a
A career.
profession. Because
Yeah.
wrestling, grappling, man, it's a very hard. You need commitment. You need like commitment, yeah, a lot of
Hmm.
commitment. So nowadays the youngsters, the teenagers, man, it's hard to get their attention and commitment, to something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the same with everything everywhere, really. With yeah, I think people have got very short attention spans, and they just want, you know, even watching a video, people want to see a 30-second video. They don't have time, or they're not interested in watching a 10-minute video. It's crazy. So to get someone to commit to something like that as dedicated,
Yeah,
uh,
too much distraction now. So,
yeah,
a lot of technology, a lot of things. Before it wasn't like this.
definitely, yeah. What? Yeah. When was it that you first got your championship? What age were you when you became the national champion for the first time?
Uh, I was the age of 16.
And
The
wow,
age of
that's young.
16. Yeah, but look, man, for wrestling is not too young, like because some of the Russians, they're 18 between 18 and 20. They're conquering the junior, from the junior they conquer the senior Olympics, man. But
Wow.
when you're placed in an environment from a young age, let's say some people are put there at 8, at 10, at 12, maybe it's a little bit, that's your last train, especially for wrestling, for Olympic sport. You need to start from very early age.
Mm-hmm.
So I think 16 was about the maybe a little bit late. Early is maybe if you're champion at 10, at 12, but 16 is about right. Because at 18 you move. That I was cadet, like cadet. Then you move to junior, and then after that you go to the tough division of the senior. So
Yeah.
that was the first one, and then after that, every year after, for 4 years, I was the champion of Bulgaria.
Wow.
And then also other international tournaments, other like different tournaments, not specifically the nationals, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we had a
So,
lot of fights, a lot of matches, a lot of competitions.
did you get a
That's
chance?
how you improve through experience.
Did you get a chance to so you were traveling then, and like as you were experiencing the world from a young age, I guess. Oh, I've got some.
Can you hear me? What was your question? Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I think yeah, the signal is low. It says I said, so you were asking if you were traveling the world from a young age with your wrestling, if you were getting the chance to visit other countries. Um,
Yeah, I think through the sport was actually quite good because, for example, once you get accepted into the sports school, we didn't have to worry about anything because it was government supported. Only thing
nice.
which was asked from us, it was just train, study, and that's it. For example, now what I find on West, man, it's a luxury if you're able to go to a boarding school, especially for sport, and you know it's quite difficult and quite expensive as well. What
Yes,
I find,
very.
but they will. When I think back, I think we're quite lucky to be able to study and train. Everything was covered: the tuition fees, the boarding place where we sleep, the cafeteria, the gyms, everything. We didn't have to worry about nothing. And
Nice.
then when you go to competition, uh, also you just wrestle and just perform, just compete. You don't have the stress on your head where I'm gonna find the finance or the material support to compete. No, you just
Mm-hmm.
you just focus on what you need to focus on. The rest was taken care of, all the travel, all the everything.
Nice.
So yeah, it was quite interesting. And I had the chance to go to European Championship in Bratislava. That was long time ago, 2001.
Nice.
And it was good experience. Yeah, I got fifth place. I lost by 1 point from the Belarusian guy. He got second. He lost from the Russian, and then later on the Russian, he actually ended up to be one of the best wrestlers in the world. Makhaч Murtazaliyev, his name. I don't know if you heard, but anyway,
Yeah.
But I think sport in general, what I have found through my experience, open up a big door can open, or business, or I don't know if you find this same, because in a sport you kind of break the boundaries, right? And I think that's why the Olympics, for example, or big events, they unite people.
Oh, absolutely.
It's good. It's amazing,
Yeah,
and not
yeah,
much ego into it as well, because
no.
you come with your gi, other guy with gi. Man, now is it the tatami gi, or is it how was the other brands? I don't know. So it doesn't matter. It's similar. But now when you go to a business meeting or some other event, so people go with the Rolex, or come with an airplane or a Ferrari, or just their
Yeah,
status. But on the mat, man, you're same.
that's
So
so
it's
true. I love that.
it's good.
I find it's very, very humbling. Like all of the grappling sports in general, whether that's wrestling or BJJ or judo, they're really humbling, and it's good for knocking down your ego. Um,
Yeah.
you know, I love the fact. I watched when I saw you at the summer week, and seeing you, a guy around my size, and ragging around men who were maybe 120 kilos and making them look like they were look like they were tiny teddy bears, and you were just throwing them around with ease, and seeing that is like, wow. And when you have that done to you, when I first went to BJJ, for example, and I had this ego when I walked in there, and I was thinking, yeah, I'm quite strong. But then they put me against a girl, and within about 45 seconds, she's choking me out, and I'm like, tap, 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 tap. I'm like, and it just as something clicked in my head. I'm like, wow, why haven't I not done this my whole life? Because everyone needs this to knock them down.
Yeah,
So
of course, man. You need to, how to say, you need to keep humble, and sometimes if you're not, somebody need to humble you, and this is best
yeah,
way, through the grappling, man. But don't have the ego, because sometimes, as you say, a big man or a small man, just have in your mind no expectation, just let's flow, let's roll, and let's learn.
yeah,
That's the mentality you gotta keep, because if you have the ego, first of all, the ego gonna stop you of rolling. Like, oh, this guy's too strong, this guy's too good, oh, this guy is a black belt, this guy is a experience, and you're
yeah,
scared to go. But that's the only way you're gonna grow especially in the grappling terms.
yeah,
You have to
definitely.
put yourself in trouble, and don't fear tap. Because
Yeah,
a lot of people, oh, what if he taps me? Man, it's at least you have the chance to tap. In
yeah.
wrestling, you have no chance to tap. You break, you sleep, man. You just gotta get out of your back, and that's it.
Wow.
But just carry on and move on. And I think nowadays the world of combat is waking up to mixing it up. All the BJJ, the judo, the sambo, the wrestling, all the grappling sports. They kind of try to find how to structure my sentence. What's the best of all, and mix it up. I think
Yeah.
this is very important nowadays, especially for people who are competing or sparring at the gym. You need to have this mix between both. Otherwise, if you're with the mindset a bit narrow-minded, you will struggle. But if you're open-minded and learn, don't ask the question of what's the best. Is judo best or BJJ best? Is it wrestling best or sambo best? Man, why don't you mix it up and,
Yeah.
and, and have a style which is dangerous in any
Yeah.
circumstances.
What kind of people are you
But yeah,
teaching at
what
the like are you trying to always incorporate that, mixing it up into, because like obviously you were at the BJJ thing, but you did wrestling. at the jiu-jitsu thing. When you're teaching in your classes, like you teach at the UFC gym, right, in Nottingham?
Yes, I'm mixing it up, like trying to trying to be like the sun, shine everywhere. And it doesn't matter. You teach MMA fighters, you teach BJ participants, you teach wrestlers, kids as well. I think it's very important. I mean, actually, most important to focus on the kids, because how
Yeah,
to say, you need to bring a once you've gone through the grappling, or any form of sport, either martial arts or something, you create a different individual. It's I don't know.
for sure.
All people know, like in terms of discipline, in terms of not giving up. When you face a problem, you can solve it. I don't know. You kind of mentally tougher. Maybe
Definitely.
I think
I think it's really
so.
important for
Yeah,
all
I
children.
I teach all kind of people in in central London. There is a private school. They have around 130 like pupils or pupils. How do you call it? They have
Pupils, yeah.
like children. So I'm their PE teacher and a wrestling coach. So in Bulgaria, after the Central Sports Club of the Army, I went to university. It's called the National Sports Academy, where specifically you learn about the human body, anatomy,
Hmm.
physiology, sports medicine, a lot of different subjects, which is quite interesting. And they make you specific, like very high within the sport as a coach or as a teacher.
Hmm.
And we had the chance to, you had to go through all the Olympic sports, like swimming, weightlifting, gymnastic, wrestling,
Wow.
everything, which is, and we had exam theory and practice. So you're familiar, and if you want to teach it, uh, for example, to the kids or to a school or to a individual, you can do it.
Cool.
So yeah, in terms of teaching, or any type of people, whoever has interest to learn, it's not a problem.
Cool. Um, I've just got a couple of questions actually. We have a live chat, and so people ask some questions. So someone's just asked,
Yes.
what is the impact of um, COVID on wrestling? Have you, yeah, how has it affected you and wrestling in general?
Look, it's actually this modern ghost, the modern enemy of the world. It has impact not only on the whole world, the whole existence, to everyone. But man, you try to cope with it the best you
Yeah.
can, and I don't know, you just try to get going. Like don't be scared of it, because it's many different. I don't know how it. I I don't know. I don't want to say too much things on the social things, but everybody have different belief about it. Like
Yeah.
is it, isn't it? So, man, to be honest with you, I prefer to die from COVID than to die from scared.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I'm with you on that.
But it has impacted. Of course, now we're not allowed to do any group classes, like big gathering. So it has a big effect, man, in many gyms, in many businesses. But man, the stubborn people, we just carry on.
That's cool.
We gather together, we grapple, we spar, and it's like no COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So,
feel the same.
but but
But
everyone is sorry.
No, no, sorry, it's okay. There's just a little delay, so it's gonna happen. It's fine. I was gonna say, what is the groups allowed? How big are they allowed to be?
Yeah, we do. For example, here in Aldershot, there is some people coming from London, from Roger Gracie Academy. They travel to here, around 4 people. Uh, 4 people we've been doing like in a small session, in a small group, and then 2 people, then one on one. So at the moment we are keeping it very, uh, how to say, very small.
Yeah.
It's not like huge classes. So, but I think this is actually better. You learn more, you get more attention. And in a group lesson, let's say you have an 1 hour, hour and a half. You saw how was in Sardinia. Like a big seminar. Man, you don't have enough time to spend to the. If you spend 2 minutes each, and there is 20, 30 people, man, I think the time is not gonna be enough. But at the moment, it's quite nice because you can spend more time, discuss more things, spar.
Nice.
But in general, I think we're gonna be missing these times, the COVID times. We will be dreaming about them once they are finished. Because man, now it's good times, like uh, relaxed times. Before it, everything was very like strict and everything boring. Same man. Now you can take a break, you can enjoy. But it depends how you look at it. Just don't depress, don't panic. Just be happy, man.
That's really important.
It's
Yeah. I think it's really important to try and get a positive spin on everything. Like try and look at look at any negative situation and see the positive things in it, because there is, there's anything bad. Like, I don't know, I say the same thing with losing. Like I always see, if I lose something, it's not necessarily a negative experience because I've learned from it. So it's the same, with this. Oh, I've
actually
got
it's good you mentioned this because man, if you sorry, carry on.
no, carry on. No, carry on. This delay is like 5-second delay. So just for anyone
Yeah,
listening,
about
that's
about the losing which you mentioned. If you ask me about my matches, in terms of all your defeats and your victories,
yeah.
man, I don't remember. There's some of the big victories, some of the close ones, the tough ones you remember, but not all of the victories. You're not too much bothered about it. But man, all the defeats, if you ask me, I'm gonna describe you second by second. How was the feeling? How was the smell? How was the environment? You learn the most through the defeat sometimes.
Yeah. I've got another question from somebody actually, which they've asked, what is the worst injury that you have ever received, if any? I assume it's from wrestling.
Look, man, to be honest with you, I'm uh, very grateful to my body, to knock on the wood. Uh, I've been very flexible, like in the sports school. First thing you do, they teach you how to warm up properly, how to stretch, how to move, and then after maybe 2 months, 3 months, they start introducing, okay, now let's grapple. So I have had a tough injuries. My ankles, I had severe injury on my left ankle and on my knees. Uh, the most serious injuries on my knees. Well, I went to the States for I won a full scholarship to go wrestle there in Colby, Kansas. So when I went, I had to have tryout matches to make the team. Like to become how to call it in English, varsity.
Varsity, yeah, yeah.
So I had to wrestle 3 of my opponents, and one of them he shoot on my feet, and he was quite nasty. He didn't let go when you had to. He kind of tried to rip my leg off, and it popped, and I had to wear like a brace for during the season. So that was a quite bad injury. Other injuries I had, like when you have a back on your lower back, it's quite common when you squat and when you do weights. That's a very, very like one of the worst injuries that you can get your back, and one of the worst pains you can get. And other
Yeah.
minor injuries like on ribs, what else, shoulders, but not crazy. You can cope with it. I have had
How
an
is your
injury
back now?
on my thumb, on this left
Where?
thumb. Excuse
Oh,
me.
okay. Sorry, yeah, sorry, on your thumb.
Yeah, and sometimes you think, man, when you you have a major injury like knees, hip, shoulders, elbows, you say to yourself, man, I wish something smaller could be hurting, you know. And when I was in the States on the semifinal, I grappled one guy from Nebraska and I gripped him like this through his, you know, a seat belt. And I tried
Yeah.
to squeeze and roll him for points, but I forgot this thumb. And man, he grabbed the thumb and he ripped it off. From here, he touched there. And man, this injury, forget that it was crazy pain and you cannot grapple anymore, you cannot touch nothing, but it lasted years.
Wow.
So never wish the small devil. Better without devil is better, you know.
I was thinking like the older you get and the longer you do it, do you start feel do you feel your back more like the injuries from when you're younger? Do you start noticing them more?
Yeah, that definitely the recovery slows down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's when you're younger, body copes with the injuries and recovery quickly. Actually, don't feel nothing, but man, now I start feeling it a little bit when I wake up in the morning. Oh, is and also maybe I need to change a little bit approach. But for example, some days I have 6, 7 to 8 training like private lessons, and sometimes you spar with the people. So imagine on a 8 sessions, if you spar through, not through all of them, but let's say if you spar for 5 or for 6 or something, and some of the guys, they're quite tough MMA fighters, 110 kilos, man, he
Oh
comes
my
for an hour. He doesn't care, he wants his workout. Let's go. And then next one comes. After the third one, I
Wow.
lose track of it. I just don't remember who comes, who goes. Yeah, so
Do
but
you?
it definitely, you feel it more.
Yeah.
Before couple years, I didn't think of it, but now the body makes me think of it.
Good. That's I mean that's important because yeah, you've only got one body, so you need to definitely take care of it. Do you what kind of recovery things do you do? Do you like sauna much, or do you ever use cryotherapy, or do you follow like a strict diet on to do with your training and stuff?
Look, mainly I try to not be too fussy about it, or too, how to say, too crazy
Okay.
about it. I just try to eat healthy,
Yeah.
have a nice sleep. You know, like I think that's the best recovery. Just try to watch what you eat. You know, like don't be too much. Just try to make maybe something homemade or something nice. You know, don't eat rubbish.
Yeah.
Train hard, like for good tonus. You know, do the, not even crazy. Just do push-ups, pull-ups, the basic, the body weight exercises,
Mm-hmm.
and have enough sleep. That's the best recovery. Then, yeah, of course, sometimes you can have like maybe massage. Uh, I enjoy every once in a while like to have deep tissue massage.
Nice. Yeah.
That's quite recovering for me. And yes, sauna is good. Sometimes in the UK, I don't know if they got it, but back home, uh, the area where I come from, they have like a mineral resort, or a area where this is around 39 degrees
Yeah.
coming out from the ground. Every time we go back, we go there for an hour and a half, and this has a very good effect on your body, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Like hot springs.
But in terms, for example, if you ask me for if I take any like supplements and things,
Mm-hmm.
every once in a while, maybe a protein shake or something like this. But other than that, not too much.
Wow.
Sometimes they say,
Okay.
"Oh, in wrestling you take a lot of steroids." I say, "Man, I never go for this route." But when I was in Bulgarian national team, uh, we had to go lay down on this bench. Doctor, why? Man, just come on, take pants down, go. He put one injection on your butt. Okay, next one. You felt like you're on the clouds, like just give me something
Wow.
I want to do.
So what was that? They didn't tell you. They just do it to you.
So, yeah,
Wow.
I don't know what they gave us, but no, man, you go. You don't have too much question, man. Just come, do it. It's a doctor. What is this? This is vitamins, man. What type of vitamins are those? I need to give to my grandfather. But this was different era. We had to do some good recovery because in the way we were training, man,
Mm-hmm.
it was impossible to recover only with the sleep and healthy food. I think they had to give us something else. I think,
How many
which we were
hours?
not aware of.
How many hours per day were you made to train when you were in Bulgaria when you were a student?
Uh, when I was in the sports school, we had a strict program. The school and the trainings, they were separated in two. You wake up in the morning, 7 o'clock, 7:30, you start school for 3 academic hours. Until 10 to 10, you're finished. At 10:30, you gotta be and it was good because the facilities, everything was like a campus, everything was one place. So it was easy to access. 10:30, you have to be at the training. If you're 1 minute, 2 minutes late, the whole team lines up, you run through it, but they have the system when somebody get promoted on BJJ, they hit
Yeah.
with the belt.
Yeah.
In wrestling, they give you a kick. So you make
Really?
sure you're never late for training. So that's yeah. So that was first training from 10:30 to 12:30. After you're finished, you go take a shower, go to cafeteria for lunch, another 4 hours of study, different subject, maths, biology, chemistry, literature, different. And then at 4:30 you finish with the school. 5 o'clock you gotta be back to the gym, the wrestling room. So from 5 to 7 training, shower, dinner, homework, sleep. So
Wow.
that was the program for 6 years. And then if you go to the national team, then the system is different. Then your training becomes 4 times per day, not 2. So, but
Oh.
that's how you become good at something. You have to put the
Mm-hmm.
effort and the commitment. Sometimes here in the UK, the wrestling is not that popular. Yeah,
Yeah.
they train, but they train maybe 3 times per week. And sometimes
Mm-hmm.
they go to international competition and they come back home with their tail underneath their feet. And they say, man, why? What's happened? They complain. I said, okay, man. I said, how many times do you train? But he said, I train 2 to 3 times per week. I said, man, some of those Europeans or Russian or Americans, they train 2 to 3 times per day. I see you cannot compare. It's not fair.
Wow. Do you how do you find it compares
But
to
hey, anyway,
Bulgaria
man,
to USA?
in
Oh,
terms
sorry.
of training.
Yeah, like in terms of the wrestling in general and the kind of outlook on training.
But I find that the Americans are one of the most physically strong wrestlers. Compare like worldwide,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and more east you go. For example, the Balkans, Bulgaria, Russia, Asia, they're more technical. So that's what I find different. And also, the mentality of the Americans, man, they're crazy. Like they're taught from first grade, you are the best. You never give up. A little bit American mentality, like man,
Yeah.
and man, they apply that mentality in everything they do. It's hard to go against such a thing. For example, in Bulgaria, when I was, when you beat somebody in a competition or in the wrestling room, you kind of earn their respect in a way. Next time they
Yeah.
wrestle you, they fight you, they're a bit scared from you, or they're a bit have respect.
Yeah.
But the Americans, man, you beat him, he comes up crazier and crazier and crazier
Oh,
every other time. So it's hard to. It was difficult to go against such a mentality, but you learn, and you kind of adjust to that mentality a little bit as well. So it was good experience.
cool. I've got another question from somebody on the YouTube has just asked, what's the most important thing that you think BJJ practitioners, so Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners, can learn from wrestling?
Look, that's what we've been trying to develop since 2010, 2009 here in the UK. I think the most important thing what a BJJ practitioner can learn from wrestling is the control, the pressure, the shifting, the movement, the dynamic. Because
Yeah.
I don't want to offend anyone from the BJJ community, but what I find in the BJJ, especially with the gi, is very rigid, like a very like
Mm-hmm.
man, loosen up a little bit, flow a little bit, glue a little bit. So learn to control, learn to shift, learn to wave, use your body properly, and also be confident in any position as a grab. Because look, before I used to compare as well, which is better, wrestling or BJJ or wrestling. Or man, there is not such a comparison. These two, if they can benefit each other, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think wrestling can benefit BJJ much more than BJJ can benefit wrestling, because in wrestling you don't use submissions, you don't use heel hooks, locks, you just
Mm-hmm.
pin the guy and that's it. But in terms of the other way around, the control, the superiority on the feet, on the ground, on the third, is very good. And if you can develop the being confident in any position, like for example, I don't know if you watch me and Ash have a row.
I watched you roll. Yeah, with Rash. That was
So
amazing to
look,
see. Yeah.
I learn, I experience, I want to put myself in trouble. So I control him. I went on top. I go here, there. Okay,
Yeah.
then after that, he go triangle defend. Okay, armbar, stay. I let him go on the back, and then man, everybody like ants gather together. Let's see what's gonna happen. Man, what's gonna happen?
Everyone.
I'm strong, man, from this position. I don't care if you have both hooks in, if you have body triangle on me, man. I'm gonna shake you off. I'm gonna flip with you. I'm gonna stay compact. I'm safe. I'm confident. I'm comfortable in this position. So
Wow.
my main advice is just become confident on each position, on the feet, on the turtle, on the side control, on the ground. Don't, of course, each position has its superiority, but don't distinguish them much. Just be ready to act and move in any way you are, because grappling. That's why now I call it grappling, so nobody gets offended, neither the
Mm-hmm.
wrestlers or the BJJ participants. Grappling is very dynamic, and you can end up in any position at any time. So you have to be prepared.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
be compact, be
Mm-hmm.
solid, don't be loose,
Nice.
and
Yeah, I feel.
one thing is to see it,
Yeah.
another thing is to feel it, and third and second thing is to do it. But I think that's the best thing, to when you feel it, when you put it to reality, when you practice it, then you learn more.
Putting yourself into awkward situations and bad positions. Yeah, I think it definitely allows you to learn a lot by letting somebody take your back, letting somebody get you in mount, and then just getting comfortable in being in essentially a dominated position where you have somebody.
Of course, you need the challenge.
Yeah.
You need a challenge to develop. If you don't have a challenge, you don't grow. You don't. I think that can be applicable in life as well, in
Yeah,
any field.
definitely. Well, I can honestly say that even when you showed the shoulder pressure move and on me, I don't think I've ever been experienced such intense pressure from some, like the squeeze that you have. And even though it's, and like you have this ability to use your strength without using your strength, you're not, you weren't exerting yourself. You're, and like that, it's just, when that was happening to me, I'm just like, wow, this is really, it's crazy to experience this. So, and now I'm trying to make myself more actively get put into these bad positions. Thanks to you.
But that what grappling is, Ash. Look, you have to not use strength
Yeah,
and cause damage. Use angle, use body weight, use pressure.
yeah,
Be compact but not tense. A lot of people, they confuse compact with tense, and then they burn themselves. And
yeah.
if you're tense and relying on your strength all the time, man, the grappling is not enjoyable. You're gonna hate it. You have to be loose. You have to play the game, glue towards the opponent, create the angle, shift around. And
Yeah.
many people, the reason why they tense is because they're too much after the submission. They want the submission by any means. Look, in grappling or in wrestling, man, I don't need the submission. I don't want it. I want the control. I want the domination. I want the torture. Man, if I get the submission, you tap, when the torture is over, my phone is gone.
It sounds pretty sick.
So,
um, how do you
but yeah, try to enjoy more music. Too much crazy.
sorry, say that again. Oh, I've lost you.
It's okay, Ash. You carry on. I think now it's getting a little bit loud here in the gym. Some music. It's
Okay, yeah, no
some music
worries.
for training as well.
Yeah, your signal's breaking up a bit, so I mean, uh, there's a few other questions
Apologies
coming in,
about
but
this.
that's okay, no worries. Um, well, we can wrap this up, and obviously it would be great to do another podcast with you at some point. Like I would like to hear a lot about what you do. Outside of wrestling, and how you apply the kind of things you learn in that to your everyday life, because you seem, from what I've met and what I've seen, you seem like a very grounded person. So I can see you definitely take aspects and I guess apply them.
Uh, yeah, look, man. I think uh, in general, on the mat and off the mat. Sometimes on the mat you gotta be animal, like in terms of turning it on. Like back
Hmm.
home, the first thing we were told, there is no friends on the mat. No friends. No, on the mat, everybody's enemy. And you have to go crazy. You have to do your best to prevail. Off the mat, you can be the best friends. You can be best family, but on the mat, man, none
Hmm.
of this exists. But still, you have to have the modesty, and the honor and respect the opponent. And look, when you win against somebody with a style, with technique, with, how to say, with humbleness, then they appreciate it, and you get a great relationship. But if you win with sly, with tricks, with anger, with it's not good. And I think these things you should apply back to life.
Yeah.
Just be be nice to people. Like present good character, be modest. And it's much better to to do the right things in life than to go for the wrong things. It's much
Hmm.
more enjoyable.
Definitely. Yeah. Um, before we wrap it up, there's one more question that's just come in. I'm quite interested to hear this. Have you ever competed in jiu-jitsu competitions before?
Yes, I competed. Yeah, I competed in Nogi.
Nogi, okay.
Yeah, yeah. It
Is that
has.
recent?
It was good experience. 2016, I competed in the British Open.
Yeah.
So it was good, very good experience. I competed 74 kilo. I think it was 74 or 70 something. And it was good, man. Look, I wanted to put myself in a position to compete, because when you compete, you understand the exact troubles, what you get caught with. I got caught with uh, an anaconda choke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how do you escape it? You get caught with the guillotine. Okay, how do you escape it? You get caught with an armbar. How do you escape it? You're gonna learn only when you spar, only when you compete.
Yeah.
So yeah, I won my division, and then after that, I decided to go to absolute. Actually,
Really?
on YouTube there is one video when I went for absolute. My first match, man, one huge guy. In BJJ you stay one corner of the table, and your opponent stay on another corner of the table.
Yeah.
And I look at this guy, and I think, no, this is in my mind. I talk to myself. I said, no, this, my opponent's coach or his dad. This cannot be my opponent. So the coach, he said, count, and he stepped forward. I said, man, what I'm gonna do with this guy? But man, you stay compact, you press, you lean towards him, you create angles. I didn't submit him. I beat him by points. I think it was 7-2 or something like that. But it was good fight.
Wow.
The next fight, they said, man, you have 5 minutes and you gotta go again. I don't agree with this BJJ rules, but anyway. So next fight, I went against one guy from Bournemouth, south of the UK,
Yeah.
and we grapple, and heavy guy, big, strong, solid, and I lost from him by advantage or something like this. I'm not sure how to call this
Yeah.
in BJJ, but to be honest with you, this time I was not very familiar with the rules, with the things, but it was fun. So
That's crazy though. As someone who doesn't really do BJJ, to win your division and then to beat a guy. How big was the guy that you beat in the first match? How heavy do you think?
man, this guy was big. I think he had at least 120, 130 kilo. This guy, but on YouTube there is a fight. It's a small I think the title is a small wrestler against a big BJJ guy, something like this.
Okay, cool. Oh, I might have seen it actually. Maybe I think I might have seen. Cool.
But just have the fun, in anything. Just have fun, enjoy, challenge yourself, and that's it.
Definitely. Well, I guess we should probably start wrapping up, because we've done an hour almost, and there is the signal is it's breaking up quite a bit. I'm not sure how it is for the listeners, but yeah, it's breaking up a little bit for me. So maybe if there's any shout outs or anything you want to finish up with saying, any tips that you want to give before we tie this interview up.
Lucas, I want to first say thank you very much to your listeners, because that's the main thing we come here. I hope they find I don't know, they find something useful for themselves, and maybe a little bit inspiration in something to become better in their grappling, in their everyday life. And I wish good luck to them, and also thank you for inviting me to this podcast. It has been a pleasure, being part of it. And that's it, man. I don't know what else to say. In life, find the people, who are good character. Like somebody you can be inspired from. Somebody you can love, and also find somebody who can hate, or who can hate you because they drive you to go more. And that's it. That's life.
Amazing.
But anyway, brother, thanks for your time, and I hope we can catch up soon again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I'd love to do that again. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, brother. All the best, and stay in touch. Have a nice day.
Yeah, I'll speak to you soon. Bye. Okay, everyone, thank you.
Guys. All the best.
We have been Shifty Perspective. This has been Lyubo Kumbarov. and we have had a very, very fun chat just then. Thank you for everybody listening. Stay tuned. We'll be back next week again. From a different location this time. And yeah, if you've got any questions, any comments, sorry about the bad signal during this podcast. However, hopefully you got enjoyment out of it as much as I did. So speak to you soon or see you soon.